Chris!
Heath.
I cast a spell on you.
Ooh.
You are cursed to listen to this whole episode of our video game podcast.
As far as curses go, I feel like I'm getting off relatively scot-free.
I let you off the hook this time.
Which of those two fates would you prefer, Samantha?
Oh, I definitely prefer listening to this podcast, Mobius Tubes.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, happy to be here.
You're now like 50% of the time co-host.
Yeah, the way it works with me visiting, I certainly do get to appear on half the episodes.
To our benefit, which is good.
Sure.
Yeah, as stated, this is episode 130 of Mobius Tubes, being recorded on October 11th, 2025. We're back. It's a video game podcast. We're all happy to be here. We've got a stacked episode. We've been playing lots of games. It's been a while since we've had a chance to reconvene. But as far as some opening light banter goes, let me pose a quick question to you three.
You three?
I was including myself in there.
Okay.
Because I have an answer to it myself. Here's some opening context. What's the longest you've waited to revisit a save file in any video game and pick it back up where you left off maybe years ago?
Middle school, I had Call of Duty Finest Hour for the GameCube. It was my very first Call of Duty game. The CRT on which I played it, the brightness was so poor, I could not progress past because it's a World War II Call of Duty game. And this one in particular, you're given the bullets, but not the rifle.
Oh.
You have to learn the stop and pop of trench warfare before they even give you a gun to shoot with. Kind of respectable in a Call of Duty first-person shooter.
They ease you into it.
So, of course, I was too dumb to make those connections, so I thought there's no way I'm going to get past this really dark section where I keep getting shot and I have nothing to defend myself with. So years passed, and then probably like 8th grade, Mr. Zimmerman's English class, I got tired of reading a book or two, and then I was like, I'm going to pop in Call of Duty Finest Hour.
Wow.
After I unlocked the ability of increased brightness.
So that was just purely on a whim? Well, I feel like there had to be something that influenced you to pick up that game after how many years had it been?
Let's just say at least 2.
Sure.
Which doesn't seem like a lot.
All right, I wasn't expecting to right off the dome such a specific answer.
Imagine had I turned up the brightness and been like, oh, these Call of Duty games are really awesome. I should play the current one, Modern Warfare. But I missed that boat.
Sure.
It was a dumb baby.
Had to make do with your GameCube disc.
I had to.
Samantha, did you have any answers right off your head?
I feel like my answer is just, I was a chronic game replayer as a kid. I think my parents, they would get us new games sometimes, but the games we really liked, we would just keep coming back to.
A very typical kid game playing behavior, I think.
Yeah, so I think it was pretty often that, especially with games like Skyrim or other RPGs, I guess, where I would put it down and then not return to it for months or years, and I'd come back to it and just pick up where I left off, and it would feel like nothing really had changed. See, I'm not saying every time I returned to Skyrim, I was picking up the same file, but I think there was a good amount of that. So I'm going to say at least a few years. There's one incidence of a game I can remember that was 5 years apart where I put it down and picked it back up. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem that weird to me to pick up a game again.
Sure. Yeah, the reason this was on my mind, such a Chris impetus for this happening. But our friends, the publisher Ubisoft, they've long tried to create a competitor to Steam, Uplay, where you have to launch your own Ubisoft games through that.
I have a Uplay account.
And in recent years, they've kind of capitulated. They've started bringing more games to Steam, even porting what was originally locked behind Uplay, their proprietary achievement system. They've been porting Steam achievements into the old Ubisoft games. We're talking early Assassin's Creeds, early Far Cry's. And for this reason, I had an excuse to relaunch Far Cry 4. Not a game I'm going to be talking about in any length on this already going to be lengthy episode of Mobius Tubes, but I booted up Far Cry 4, a game I originally played 7 years ago, and booted up in my same exact save file on Steam this time to get the achievements and stuff. I thought it was an interesting exercise, and lots of media can cement people in a time and place, be it this is the album I was listening to in senior year of high school, this is the movie I watched in college. But with games, it's kind of interesting to not just replay a game you played in a certain time, but actually revisit the exact save file. This is the last thing I was working on with my own hands like 7 years ago, and here's where I left off. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, it also cemented me. I was thinking back, what was I doing back when I played on this original Far Cry playthrough back in early 2017? And Far Cry, a little bit of a mindless open world first-person shooter, excellent podcast game. And that brought me way back to, I was in college listening to a lot of video game podcasts about the Switch and Breath of the Wild, because those had both just released at the time I was playing this. And that was a cool blast from the past experience for me as I quickly mopped up Ubisoft achievements on Steam for Far Cry.
So your Far Cry 4 experience was just Breath of the Wild.
It was, vicariously experiencing Breath of the Wild as I stealthily shot my bow in Far Cry.
Mm-hmm. Normal Breath of the Wild experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was that opening bit. Thanks for humoring me, everybody. And with that out of the way, we've got lots of games to discuss. We've been playing a lot. I think there's actually a correct order to tackle these in. And I think what makes the most sense is, in recent episodes, we've been talking a lot about the original Hades 1. Hades 2 is out now. Samantha and I have been dipping into it. But before we transition to the new hotness of Hades 2, Heath, I think it makes the most sense to give you the opportunity to give us any Hades 1 progress updates you've had.
Yeah, well.
Where we left off last episode was...
We were eating every ingredient on the Thanksgiving table except the turkey. I'm fulfilling all of my Bond S-links, if you will, the confidants. Getting to know all the characters a little bit better, maxing out certain aspects of my weapon so I can kill Skelly. I'm beating around the bush. Romance. Just I'm doing all the romance stuff. And decorating my house.
You were progressing in Hades in every way possible except for clearing a run.
Yes, because if you play the game right, you can reach the Temple of Styx with 1,000 gold, and that can buy you pretty sweet upgrades. But I think to myself, oh, my engine's not what it needs to be. I'm not synergistic enough. My money would be better spent buying that Titan blood so I can get a sweeter upgrade that would actually stand a chance against the final boss. And so I'm putting my eggs into that basket. Whereas had I just committed to Critical Path, I probably would have beaten the game by now.
How many runs are you into Hades?
80 at least.
Oh.
Impressive numbers. Just for a little context, I did sit down and watch Heath do a run after we recorded last episode, and I came to two conclusions. One, I think the hardware Heath is playing on is hampering his ability to perform to some extent. The frame rate is not very consistent on your Mac. That would get in my way too. Also, maybe I underestimated how much of a handicap playing without a controller was. I think the game does lend itself more towards controller play. So with those two factors working against you, I can now better understand how you arrived in this position.
I like it.
Begrudgingly?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Here's the sound Heath makes when he discovers a new room in Blueprints. Ooh. Here's the sound Heath makes when he unlocks a new aspect in Hades. Oh, God. I got to learn this moveset. I got to spend a dozen upgrades to make it viable. It's like, congrats, Heath. We promoted you to assistant regional manager. Now do this style of paperwork.
I've seen you continue to boot it up every once in a while.
I'm going to beat it.
At this point, is it like...
I got to play Hades 2 with you guys.
Do you feel like you're obligated to do that, or is that something you're actually looking forward to doing?
Because you got to beat it, like, not just the one time. To beat.
What are you talking about, Samantha? Once you kill Hades, the credits play and you've completed the game, and then that's the end of the game. You get a Uplay achievement that says you beat the game. Chris, you don't want the answer to that question. If you did not exist, would I have ever booted Hades? Probably not. But and again, that just has much more to say about flow states and gameplay loops in Heath's domain. If you're a video game developer listening to this show and you want to produce a game that I will rate so highly, you need to focus on mystery elements and puzzle-based solutions to your gameplay challenges. I went through the effort to try to figure out where I rank the action games relative to the puzzle games, and I couldn't come up with the absolute clickbait of a title of the best action game is not as good as the 10th best puzzle game, because Hades is better than A Hand with Many Fingers.
Oh, okay. Just to get your take on this, Samantha, I listened to Heath's somewhat deflated demeanor talking about Hades, and I think of two things. One, I did kind of forget he is not the action game guy. He was never going to love it as much as I did or as much as you did. But I also have to take away being like, damn, that's kind of a bummer. It doesn't sound like he's getting the intended experience.
It certainly doesn't, but also I don't know if I'm like a big action game person either, and I like Hades quite a lot. So, I mean, before playing Hades, if Heath had just said the 10th best mystery game is better than the best action game, I probably would have agreed with him.
I see. So you can relate to him in that way?
Yeah, I see where he's coming from.
That's true on paper, but not in practice.
Yeah.
As much as we would like it to be. Chris, don't worry though. For Hades 2, I am buying the most top shelf, upper echelon controller with the quick twitch paddles on the underside.
Ooh.
And the analog sticks that can rotate so the concavity is adjustable. Just the absolute bourgeois Xbox Elite V Max double triple plus controller so that we can actually rule out whether or not that was the Achilles heel.
Oh,
You still need a new computer, but it's a good start.
No, I'm going to downgrade my computer even more. I'm going to play it on a...
You have to sell it to afford this fancy controller.
Play it on a TI-84.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. I think now's the time we're going to transition into the hotness. Hades 2 is out. Woo! After about a year of early access, Hades 2 is released in version 1.0 in September. Probably my most anticipated game of the year. I also suckered Samantha in to play it with me because I was tired of avoiding spoilers and things like that. Which this will be a spoiler-free conversation.
You play as a Gorl now.
Yeah, so Hades 2, direct sequel to Hades, Supergiant's first sequel. Bit of a departure for the studio, of which I'm a big fan. It takes place a kind of indefinite number of years later after Hades 1. I would recommend probably playing the first one before you dive into the sequel. You'll definitely know what's going on in the sequel, even if you lack context. It'll just be less meaningful to you. Is Hades 2 better in every way compared to Hades 1? No, I don't think so. I'm still grappling with where I'm going to rank the two. At the end of the day, the core appeal is the same between these games.
Fishing.
It is more Hades and more complexity sprinkled on too, I believe. I don't think Hades 2 is any worse than Hades 1. I'm just not yet convinced it's actually better. It's just more of what I loved. And so far, I'm having a blast with it. You play as Melanoe, Zagreus' sister. And as you quickly learn, as the game is establishing its premise, the Titan of Time, Kronos, he barged into the House of Hades some number of years ago, kind of took over the whole joint. The rest of your family, their fates are unknown. They've been taken away from you. Melanoe has been raised by Hecate, a supporter of Hades, in secret, and she's been training her whole life to get revenge on Kronos, hopefully get her family back.
Is this no longer in ancient Greece?
This is.
Melanoe and Hecate?
Hecate exists.
These are Pokemon names you're saying, my guy. What happened to Zeus, Poseidon?
Those are both Greek mythological names. Those names are from Greek mythology.
Okay.
So, as the sequel, they kind of hit a lot of the big names in Hades 1, so you have to get a little more niche in Hades 2 with who you're meeting. Not to say there are still big names you'll meet. You very quickly run into Odysseus, for example.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of like the Achilles replacement.
Yeah, and he's not giving what he should be for his role.
And this game goes in the reverse direction. In Hades 1, the premise was Zagreus trying to escape the underworld.
Oh, awesome.
Now you're going down. You're trying to get into Tartarus. Reverse direction. That's where Kronos is located.
Okay.
And if you're like, oh, does that mean like it's a retread of all the same areas and enemies? No, of course not. That would be boring.
That'd be a little boring.
Asphodel is ice cold.
That would be cool.
And once again, this game plays out as an isometric action roguelite where you go from room to room. You choose various upgrades as you chart your path towards the bottom, be it upgrading your health or receiving boons from all of your Olympian relatives. Lots of familiar faces are back: Zeus, Poseidon, Aphrodite, with new ones that I won't spoil now. But yeah, the roster of the Greek pantheon has been expanded. New faces, new play styles, new boons to unlock.
Also, some of the gods from the original, they don't appear in the way they did the first time.
Right, there's been reworkings,
Yeah.
rebalancing, stuff like that. To probably account for the fact that while I say this is ultimately another Hades game, Melanoe has a fundamentally different play style to Zagreus. Maybe most noteworthy in Zagreus is very twitchy, very dash heavy. You would spam the dash button all the time. Upgrading the number of dashes you had was a huge benefit in Hades 1. Where that is just not on the table in Hades 2, a slower, more deliberate play style, Melanoe only ever has a single dash she can do. A huge handicap compared to Zagreus.
Also, I might be mistaken on this. I feel like the range of her dash isn't as big as Zagreus's was. I feel like it's shorter.
Right. The number of iframes you have to rely on in Hades 2 has been diminished.
Yeah.
But to account for that, she's more of a witch. She likes to fight from afar a bit more often than Zagreus, I would say. And there's a new tool in your toolbox, something you two have commented on in Hades 1, casting, where you would shoot a little projectile that lodges itself in an enemy for some sort of perk. Neither of you ever really grew to use that very often. Casting still exists in Hades 2, but in name only. It's been completely reworked into something that I think is essential. Now, when you cast in Hades 2, you add basically a big circle around your character that stays on the ground, and any enemies who step into it get stuck in place. You can create massive choke points on the field where enemies just won't be able to pursue you using this new casting system. And that means that suddenly you're thinking a lot more about positioning in this game. You can keep areas of safety, a buffer between you and the foes.
And of course, you can get a boon on your cast, which then makes it so while the enemy is stuck in place, they are taking damage.
Taking damage or having helpful or harmful status effects applied to them.
Yes, it's very good.
And yeah, it immediately feels like this is the Hades format I know and love, but Mel definitely plays different than Zagreus. I'm guessing this play style will be more natural for some players and less natural for others. It'll be very subjective.
I feel like this game also encourages more than the Hades one, like range as like a method of attack. Playing as Zagreus, I struggled with the range weapons so much just because it's like kind of antithetical to his like whole play style.
Dash around everywhere, got up close.
Yeah, and it's like I hated the bow and I hated the gun playing with him. And I've been having a great time with the ranged weapons with Mel. No problems there. The harder approach is definitely to be melee.
I would agree.
Yeah.
She seems more suited to range, especially with having this ability to like create a big buffer between you and foes.
Yeah, it's a big change.
It's a big change. The other big fundamental change to combat is every weapon has what's called an Omega move, where you
This is Pokemon.
you kind of have to charge it up, and then it'll do a more powerful move that consumes a new resource in this game. You have a resource called magic, which is basically mana. It's a bar that you can use. It's fully replenished in each encounter, so you just have to like manage it in a room-to-room basis. But it's your resource for doing more powerful Omega moves, which have to be charged up, and often when you're charging, you're stuck in place, which I think contributes to this game's Supergiant said, how do we make this game actually feel different than Hades? We limit the number of dashes. We incentivize the player to be locked in a static position for a certain duration of time. It just makes the whole fundamental flow of combat have a separate identity from the first game. And I welcome the change. I'm glad it's not a complete rehash of the first one.
Still, when you have to fight Zagreus as the super secret final boss, he's going to beat your ass.
It's going to be all over the place.
Heath, I repeatedly made the same prediction to Chris, and he was like, that's not going to happen.
He's going to dash from next week.
No, but Zagreus is such a cool guy. I can't imagine him wanting to fight you.
Just for fun.
Just for fun?
The Fates will be controlling him or something stupid.
It'll be like, all right, sis, we'll find out who's the favored sibling. Compete for Hades' affection.
I've seen this video.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I am absolutely smitten with the game. It's been out for a little over 2 weeks. I'm already 31 runs in. Played it for over 35 hours or so. I've had some successful runs.
Oh my God.
Are you going to mention a big aspect of like how runs can be different? Or is that a spoiler? I feel like it's hardly a spoiler.
I think I don't want to mention that.
Okay.
Nemesis system.
I wish. Nemesis is in the game, and she's
yes.
she's hot as hell.
Yeah, daughter of Nick's Nemesis in the game.
Why don't you tell Heath about your experience with Nemesis, Chris?
Okay, so Samantha has the hots for Nemesis. She's like, I'm going to be inviting her to the hot spring to romance. And her name is so apt because she showed up in an early run of mine. I was like 2 rooms in, yet to get any useful boons. I had like a buff on my dash or something trivial. And she's like, hey, Mel, let's put our money where our mouth is. We'll wager 100. They're not called Charon's Obols anymore, I don't think. It's just gold.
Yeah.
We'll wager 100 gold, see who can kill more enemies. She's
Chris,
basically...
Oh, Than.
She's basically Thanatos.
Why did you have 100 gold in the first place?
Oh, because I had just equipped for my first time my Charon keepsake to get that initial gold.
Yes.
I'm like, cool, can't wait to take this to the shop. And then she trounces me. I mean, you can claim skill issue. I didn't have any
That's what I
useful
claimed.
boons. She's like, cool. I'll be taking your money. Also, at the end of a Hades fight, you usually get to choose, am I going to walk through door number 1 or door number 2 for the cool boon or to visit the shop? When Nemesis shows up in the run and she makes her departure, she smashes through one of the doors,
Okay.
therefore taking it off the table. You only have one option. She robbed me and then forced me to go visit Charon's shop where I could afford nothing. So she absolutely took a steamy dump all over my run.
Hey, but did you win that run?
I did succeed the run.
Wasn't that your first victorious run?
It was off to a rough start. Yeah, she took all my money and made sure I could afford nothing in the shop she forced me to go to.
What a great emergent moment.
What a bitch.
Anyways, I met Nemesis early in my run, and I just beat her. So I do think it was a skill issue.
Well, that's entirely possible.
I just got a free $100 or whatever. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Those
are some initial impressions. A little more to say. Is it all sunshine and roses with Hades 2? Not quite. If you tried Hades 1, should you be considering trying Hades 2, aka Janus or people we know? I'm going to say firmly no. I think for people who didn't like Hades 1, you're going to probably like Hades 2 even less because it's just more Hades in a lot of ways. One criticism I saw occasionally levied at Hades 1 was people complaining, there's a lot of resources and currencies to manage here. It seems a bit much. And then Supergiant said, you thought that was a lot? Check this shit out. There are so many currencies to manage. There's now like a garden growing component of the game where you plant some seeds and then a certain number of rooms later, they'll blossom into crops you can harvest for your cauldron recipes. Bones are a resource. Ash is a resource. Darkness is a resource, and I haven't even gotten any darkness yet, and that's from the first game.
Before you continue, I can see kind of why they have a good amount is because they're incentivizing you to take different routes on your runs. Certain resources can only be found in this location.
True.
I mean, I still think they have a lot of resources. They probably could have pared it down a bit, but they did need to kind of diversify to incentivize you to change things up.
I see how they arrived at that decision.
Yeah.
But for anyone who thought Hades 1 was a lot to keep track of,
it's going to be worse.
It's going to be worse in Hades 2.
Yeah. They know that though. And like on your cauldron, you can like put a little tracker on like the next spell you want to do. And then the game, you don't even have to like, it'll kind of cheat for you. And it'll be like, hey, this is the reward. But also if you go in this room, that resource that you need is going to be there.
Oh, I didn't actually know that yet. Oh. So there's cool quality of life features to make it easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hades 2 is more Hades and more complexity in every way. In the first game, those powerful abilities you would do once in a while called a call. Olympians would give you a call. It's like a super move. You'd use it once in a while. There's the equivalent in Hades 2. It's called a hex. It's the same thing, really, except now your hex has an entire skill tree associated with it. Just for that one ability, you're picking branching paths down skills, and you can level it up multiple times. It's just more in every way. In fact, by some metrics I've seen, there is literally twice as much content in Hades 2 as the first game. So I'm going to be playing this for months. It's going to be a everlasting gobstopper of a game. Other nitpicks, I'll say. I don't even necessarily disagree with this decision. Playing the game for the story, Hades 2, there is a fundamental narrative tone shift here.
Yeah, Zagreus was pretty funny. It kept things light.
The stakes were low.
Yeah, the conflict of the story was basically within a family unit. Almost a relatable conflict.
Go to your room.
Go to your room, yeah.
The big conflict in Hades 1 is Zagreus wants to run away from home, where the conflict in Hades 2 is a literal war.
People are very serious. The stakes are infinitely higher. This war has dragged on for how old is Mel? That many years.
Right.
Yeah, and her whole family being kind of in shambles is pretty dark.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of intrigue that was compelling me to see more and more. It's just not as light of a time, and she would be this way. I mean, if you look at how Melanoe was raised, she should be a bit more serious and dour to Zagreus, but she's not as fun of a hang. I enjoyed playing as Zagreus more.
He was the more fun personality to see interact with the gods and stuff. And Mel is Eris will say something funny to her and she'll just be take it very seriously. She doesn't give her a joke back.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm loving it. I think there are some standout boss fights in Hades 2. I love there's a musical number boss, which is so much fun.
Oh, also just because the game is really serious doesn't mean there aren't light moments. I thought when you said standout, I thought you were going to say standout voice acting performance.
Oh.
Because there's you get your little friends you can visit during your runs. And there is one that he's so funny immediately.
He's killing it.
Yeah, they should have paid him more. And anyone who's played Hades 2 immediately knows who I'm talking about. I hope he got paid for what he did.
He is nailing that performance.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Everything about the game's presentation, be it visually and the Darren Korb excellent soundtrack, it's all in peak shape. It looks and sounds every bit as good as Hades 1 did. And then the last note I had to talk about Hades 2 in this initial update is, did you want to talk a little bit about how difficulty compares between the two games, Samantha?
I would say the first objective in Hades 2 is easier than Hades 1, and the second objective is harder. And that's all I can say without spoilers.
I do agree the second arc of the game definitely feels harder than Hades 1, I believe.
And I'm going to caveat this saying I played Hades 1 not that long ago, so my skills aren't super deteriorated. I had my first successful run 11 tries in, as did Chris, who's a better gamer than me, at least with Hades. So yeah, maybe I'm biased.
I think I've been personally progressing faster through Hades 2, but I'm pretty sure that's my 100 hours of Hades 1 talking.
Yeah, we're the wrong people to ask.
I think it's probably which one you find easier or harder. It probably has a lot to do with which you play first.
Yeah.
And which play style, Zagreus or Mel, you just jive more with. I think they're probably pretty similarly balanced overall, except for that second arc of Hades 2. I've had successful runs. I've beaten it a couple times, but it just, at the later part of that run, it starts to feel a bit exhausting at times with the number of things they throw at you.
Oh yeah, that last bit is
it's a gauntlet.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's awful.
I am happier every time I'm playing the first arc of the game.
Yeah, I've been watching him play because people can't play at the same time. And he'll be doing stuff that's not progressing the plot. And I'll be like, why are you taking that route? And he's like, well, it makes me happy.
While that is true, it's mostly motivated by which weapon has the thirst on it.
It doesn't, the thirst is independent.
That's what you think, but I'm trying to gather Nightmare.
Oh, okay. It's like weird how Nightmare forces you to pick a route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. Sorry.
Heath, you lack context for all these things we're saying right now.
There's some big stuff we can't talk about, unfortunately.
There are some twists.
Go ahead, Heath.
I'm finding Hades 1 to be enough of a nightmare for me.
Initial impressions on the 6 brand new weapons in this game, Samantha?
Okay, I haven't actually played with all of them, even though I've unlocked all of them. The skull is awesome. It's like
It's
gun.
a ranged weapon.
Yeah, but with 4 bullets. And you recall, I hated the gun in Hades 1. This gun, way better.
What makes the difference?
I think the way you reload is better.
When you shoot the 4 skulls out, they then are existing kind of in the environment. You have to run over and like scoop them back
Or
up.
you can use your special, which
Retrieves them.
retrieves them. Yeah, I think that's great. It's a great combat pattern to get into. Shoot, special. It feels like a good flow. Also, the bullets actually do damage. So I hated that gun. I beat 1 run on it. I was like, great, never touching this again. Yeah, I like the skulls. I like the twin swords that I can't ever remember the names of. I like their special
the sister
ability.
blades.
Sister blades are great. The staff is pretty good. I have less to say about the axe and the jetpack.
I'm dreading every time I have to use the Moonstone axe.
Yeah.
It's a very slow, very powerful weapon.
It's testing what Mel is essentially trained to be, which is like being slow and holding still. Yeah. It's like, do you know how to use Mel?
I'll say I'm starting to warm up to weapons even more as I unlock their weapon aspects and stuff, but I think I was less love at first sight with the Hades 2 arsenal than I was the Hades 1 weapons. I think there's a little more to learn from them.
I think there was a learning curve on some of them. The staff and the torches I had to get used to before I loved them.
But I think I'll learn to love them. Maybe even the axe, given enough time.
The thing that was love at first sight was that cast. Man, that thing is great.
Casting is great.
The way I feel like Chris described it to me before I played the game, I feel like the way he describes it does not encompass how great it is on the field. Like it doesn't sound that good, and then you're playing and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's refreshing constantly. It is great. Yeah.
And like I'm damaging enemies and they can't get any closer to me. This is excellent.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like they can move in the cast, they just move slow. So, and bosses basically just move at their same speed because they're bosses.
You're saying Milenoe has witch time.
Yeah, she has Bayonetta witch time.
There you go.
And that's our initial Hades 2 impressions. Very positive on it. I'm loving it. I see no signs of stopping playing it. Even as I approach, I'm probably getting close to the credits for the first time.
I got to beat the second objective first. I'm like 15 hours behind Chris.
That's true. I've been hogging the game.
That's okay.
Okay, Heath, you've been very patient listening to us gush, but you've been playing other games.
I beat Blueprints.
Woo!
Blueprints, the puzzle game Samantha and I were obsessed about for like a month straight back in the spring, and they released it for Mac and Apple computers. So you finally got your hands on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't run great there either.
But that didn't deter you. You've seen the whole game to credits.
And I've not seen the whole game. Chris.
No one at this table has. Don't worry.
Although I intend to.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Blueprint, look, it's just fun. I'm gonna eat all that chocolate cake.
All right, tell us all about Blueprints.
Blueprints is a puzzle game, but it's really different from other puzzle games. 70% of the time, you are finding clues, connecting the dots. Very satisfying. 30% of the time, you're in triage because you drafted yourself into a corner. On your left is a really expensive shortcut, and on your right is a long trip back to the side of the house where you have better odds, but getting there is almost certainly more expensive in terms of available steps. As a mystery game, it can be pretty annoying when you can't find the figurative, and in this case, literal key that turns the lock in front of you. It's very similar in execution to attempting Call of Duty Zombies Easter eggs. Oh, did the mystery box not give you the ray gun you need to kill the napalm zombie during the eclipse? Guess you're gonna survive another round until he respawns.
That's some relatable content right there.
Samantha's nodding vigorously right now.
Yeah.
For many gamers, that's okay because Call of Duty Zombies is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And to the shock of no one, I think Blueprints is pretty fun.
Yeah, this was a Heath coded game from the start.
I'm going to say it. I like it equally to Disco Elysium.
Why did you make that specific comparison?
Because Disco Elysium is another clue-finding game.
I mean, structurally, they're very different games.
Well, I spent a decent amount of time trying to rank each of these heckin' things. Of all these games that I'm thinking of, yeah, Outer Wilds is the best of them, but I don't know what to call them because they're so disparate. Chris, you know how sharks and dolphins are extremely distant evolutionarily despite their similar appearances?
Yes, that makes sense.
Like how we're more closely related to dolphins than dolphins are to sharks.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Blueprints is more similar to Mosalina and Demon Bluff than it is Outer Wilds.
Okay, fill me in. What are Mosalina and Demon Bluff like?
Mosalina is that puzzle platformer where the rules always change because they're generated as you launch the level.
Okay, randomly.
Butterflies mean this, rectangles mean this, like that type of thing. And the solution is not always possible. If you saw Mosalina, you'd be like, oh, okay. With these tools that I have been given, I think this is a solution. Mm-hmm. Oh, it wasn't? Let me restart. Now I have these tools.
And what is Demon Blade like?
Demon Bluff.
Demon Bluff
is just social deduction, resistance members, and then there's 2 spies. And then everyone has their own little logic proofs of like, this person can verify the identity of someone to their right, but the spies always lie. And you have to deduce who the spies are.
Okay.
You are just given the clues and you have to solve it. You were just given these rooms and blueprints and you just have to make it work. That's why those are much more similar than a scripted mystery type experience like an Outer Wilds, a Case of Golden, a Disco.
I see where this metaphor is coming from. Because while on the face of it, booting up Blueprints and booting up Outer Wilds, these first-person puzzle games, look very similar. One is completely authored, Outer Wilds, and one is, you're navigating the RNG in Blueprints.
Yeah. Blueprints, 8 out of 10.
Oh, that low.
It does get frustrating.
It was not a frustration-free experience. That's right.
It has some really good moments, but sometimes you feel like you're just beating your head against a wall.
What were some of your pop-off moments, Heath?
Every time you hit an office conference room combo or locker room combo.
You walk in there and it's brimming with things to pick up.
Yeah.
Have you messed with the RNG much of the rooms? I really liked doing that.
What is she talking about?
There's like a room that lets you adjust the rarity of certain rooms.
The solarium?
No.
That makes rare and uncommon ones more drafted.
I guess that does technically mess with the RNG, but this one, you know how like the lavatory is common and it's like the worst room in the house?
Sucks.
Well, you'll walk in and there'll be like 3 rooms and you can change, like if the lavatory is there, you can change it to be extremely rare. So you never see it anymore.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It helps a lot with the frustration because then you can get rid of rooms you don't like anymore. And the room you're like, man, I really need that boiler room to spawn. Like me, you can make it spawn more often.
Still have no idea what the pump room is for.
What?
Oh, you know what? You don't actually need that to beat the game.
Okay.
We just did it.
The thing about Blueprints is its scale is so massive. In the post game, I was encountering new rooms all the time. It almost seems unknowable to learn it all.
It's a massive game. There's a lot of post-game after you hit the credits.
More post-game than pre-game.
More post-game than pre-game, but I think that was a wise choice because by the time you've hit credits, might be time for a breather.
No.
Because there's frustration, I got to 3. There's 8 post-game unlocks, and I did 3 of them.
There might even be more than that.
There's probably more past that, but of the 8 initial, I did 3.
So you feel motivated to keep going then, Heath?
Oh, yeah. I love doing dartboard math.
Dartboard math's fun.
I mean, I found the magnifying glass day 1.
Ugh. You beat it pretty fast.
It's rare.
Yeah, it sounds like you beat it quickly.
Yeah, I feel like Chris and I got stuck in a different... We were trying to beat post-game stuff, and we were like, man, where's that credits, you know? I feel like we know enough to beat it.
I've yet to play chess. I've yet to descend the freight elevator.
Freight
elevator.
You know, like the fires that light the thing outside.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
You'll know when I'm done with the game when I break the chapel protector of the tithe.
Oh, okay.
I wound up doing that eventually.
No.
Yeah.
I would recommend playing some chess and pursuing that
Okay.
lead. There's some good rewards behind there.
Okay. There's blueprints.
That was Blueprints. Do you think it lived up to the impression we gave you on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything you said was true.
Sick.
Unlike Hades.
Unlike Hades. Very good. While we're giving updates on games that have been brought up before, Samantha, this is your first time joining us in the flesh, where you have the opportunity to tell us some Witcher 3 Wild Hunt thoughts. I shared some of your write-in thoughts last episode, but now you can give it straight from the source.
Sure. Just to give a little context, I think last time when I texted Chris a bunch of stuff, I just finished up with Velen, which is kind of like the first area they drop you into after you're out of tutorial mode. And now I basically just wrapped up Novigrad. I have like one big side quest I want to do with Dandelion, and then I'm going to move on to Skellige. Obviously made a lot of progress in my adventures, and I guess I have some updates.
Give us some updates on this big open world RPG. One of my favorite games.
The one thing I will say is my combat skills are absolutely being hampered by Chris being like, what if you played Hades 2 right now? Because then I go and try to fight monsters as Geralt, and all of a sudden my dash button isn't working anymore. It's been a hindrance to my play.
Have you considered remapping buttons?
Never. I'll just relearn it every time. I didn't talk about Gwent at all before. I like Gwent quite a bit. I think it's fun.
This is the robust card-based minigame that people play in the Witcher universe.
And it has characters from the Witcher universe in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. People can play a Geralt card as you play him as Geralt.
I played Siggy Reuven, and I played my Siggy Reuven card against him.
Yeah.
And he was just like, this is normal. So that's pretty fun. Yeah, I like it a lot. I was playing it wrong at first, and if you're like, how do you even do that? There were like Gwent quests you could do to get rare cards, and I was just here with my shit deck, no cards of any value, being like, man, these merchants are impossible to beat. I can't even imagine beating the hard guys. And Chris was like, well, you got to go play the guys that give you cards, and that changed everything for me, and now I never lose.
Okay.
More things to say about it. I don't remember if you mentioned that I was not very impressed with Yennefer. I don't like her very much. Chris had me read The Last Wish before I started playing the game. She just seemed really mean and spiteful. It was a surprise that she and Geralt hooked up at the end of their story. I was like, huh? Like, it seemed like she was really cruel to him, basically nonstop. If there were any flirty vibes, I was not picking up on it. I was like, yeah, it seems like a good villain origin story. Maybe they'll like become lovers later. Because right now it seems like they hate each other. And then they're like having sex in like a collapsed building. And I was like, I don't know how we got from point A to point B. Must just be a guy thing. Speaking of which, that book is the most misogynistic piece of writing I have ever read in my life. I tried to read it before this Witcher play, and I literally could not get past the first chapter because I was like so disgusted by it. So if you're a girl and you want to play The Witcher because your boyfriend loves it, just know what you're getting into. The games are better. You can tell the source material is still present, but it's not as aggressive. Just a fair warning, because it's really bad in the books. Horrible. And the game doesn't solve all of those problems.
But the fourth one will. Because you play as a girl.
Yeah, Ciri's like the one character I don't absolutely see the original authors like touch on. Even then, she's still like beautiful and is like always wearing torn clothing. Like, it's so ridiculous, even in the game, that like the characters are remarking upon it. Like, there was one mission I did where like a woman soldier goes out and tries to save a town when she's not supposed to. And you and the guy she's supposed to be following the orders from go and try to stop her and like stop her from killing herself. You collect her and her shirt is like all the way open. You're not seeing any like anything X-rated, but her shirt is just, it's not buttoned. The girls are out. And the character Geralt is with is like, why did you run into battle your chest bare? Like, he's like confused by it because as a soldier, no one in their right mind would do that. It suggests that like she's insane and has a death wish, which is not true. And it's like, he's confused by it because it's so aggressive. Ugh.
He's confused because the reason she did that does not exist in his universe.
Yeah, the reason he did it doesn't exist in the universe. It's just, it's so bad. Anyway, Triss Merigold, she's
a sorceress.
She's a sorceress, as all the girls are. Her voice acting is so bad, it's unlistenable. I really wanted to like Triss as a character because I didn't like Yennefer, and Triss is basically the other option if you want like lore and stuff. And her voice acting is so aggressively apathetic that I could not like her. The most egregious example is near the end of her arc. She's supposed to be giving a speech to a crowd of mages she's going to rescue. And it's like, it's her big moment. And she's delivering it as if she were reading her grocery list. There's even this line at the end where she's like ending her speech and she's supposed to say like aside to Geralt, like, I hope that went well. It's not that line, so don't quote me on that. Instead, she basically says, and that's the speech. And then in the same tone and volume, I hope that went well. It implies that the whole crowd just heard her say that. It like makes no sense. Anyways, horrible voice acting. I don't know why that's a problem in this game where the goddamn merchants have good voice acting. It's like, what is going on right now? I wanted to like Triss. I feel like she had some interesting character beats. And she was a good foil to Yennefer in theory, but she was so unlistenable that like I didn't like her. And I didn't romance her, and I was happy to see her go. The only woman I've liked to hang out with has been Kira. She's been fun, and I kind of liked her deal with being a spoiled princess forced to slum it in the swamp. That was really funny to watch her play off the villagers and how they're like kind of scared of her, but like deeply respectful because they want her help. And she's just like, ugh, these guys,
these country bumpkins.
Yeah, these hillbillies are needing my help, and I gotta be nice to them or they're gonna turn me into the witch hunters. So that was a good time. I liked that much better than my time spent with Triss. My other complaint about the voice acting is Dandelion, though I do think he's trying to act the lines he's given. He just sounds like a guy that I would meet on the street. Like, he doesn't sound like he's old-timey. You know, Geralt has that gruffness about him. Kira sounds like she exists in, like, the Middle Ages. And Dandelion just sounds like he's, like, a radio host that I would turn on the radio right now today and listen to. I also think they made him less funny than the books, which I don't know why they did that. He's supposed to be comedic relief. Why are you making him have serious expressions? Why can't he take a joke? So strange. I haven't hung up with him a lot yet, so maybe that changes. But my initial impressions are the writers of this game were like, oh, we put him in a stupid pink outfit. We don't need to write any jokes for him. We'll just let that be the joke.
He's a walking joke.
He's a walking joke. And I'm like, all of his moments so far, he's been really earnest and serious and hardly any hint of humor. Like, Geralt has told more jokes than he has. I feel like so far I've complained a lot about the game. And that's because Chris decided not to share some of these complaints with you guys. And he said a lot of the things I liked about the game already. Like, I like the plots. I think they're interesting. I like the side quests. I'm having a good time. I finally got to change Geralt's hair, and that improved my gameplay experience. I also have an outfit for him that I think it's not good, but it's less ugly than what I was dealing with before. So, improvement.
Market improvement.
Market improvements. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to finish this game. And that's where I'm at so far. Chris, do you have any questions? I feel like I missed stuff probably. As a Triss Merigold lover, defend her whole being to me.
Well, she's nice. I don't remember being bothered by this unenthusiastic voice acting, although some cherry-picked examples you've shown me have been questionable.
She's been like, Geralt, I'm gonna leave unless you tell me you love me. And then Geralt will be like, I want you to stay. Because he's acting, and then she'll be like, okay, I'm gonna leave. I can't even do it. I don't know how she did it with a straight face. It's so bad. And I wish that were true because this game is so reliant on its characters and its storytelling to be a compelling experience. And she was killing it, like not in the good way.
Killing it in the bad way.
Killing it in the bad way.
These voice acting complaints, I won't try to defend them right now, but maybe on the bright side, you've identified one or two bad examples out of a massive cast.
That's what I'm saying. The rest of the cast is great. And I don't know why these two major characters they just gave to extras that happened to be on set that day with no voice acting experience.
I see.
And that's probably not true. I'd assume they picked veterans. Yeah. But maybe they didn't.
They have some big actors on there. The Emperor of Nilfgaard is Charles Dance. I know him from Game of Thrones.
I thought Radovid's performance was fun. I mean, he's just a fun character. Siggy Reuven was doing a good job.
Yeah. And I love Geralt's voice actor, Doug Cockle.
He's got some good delivery, especially like nailing that like kind of dry humor Geralt has.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's hard to tell if Geralt is making a joke, and I think that is the voice actor doing a good job because you're like, is Geralt making a joke?
It's supposed to be a bit ambiguous.
Yeah. You're like, that guy's not the jokester. Yeah. It's good. Oh, and the Priscilla's song was really good. It made me believe that Geralt could love Yennefer, even though I don't love Yennefer. I'm like, Geralt is into this toxic fucking mess that is Yennefer. I don't remember her last name.
Of Vangerberg.
Ugh. Yeah, he's like, man, she's perfect for me when she's like actively ruining his life. But, he's delusional. That's his character.
How do you feel the quest decision-making has been treating you?
Okay, so that's a good point to bring up. I like how important my decisions are. However, sometimes I think the consequences to my decisions are maybe too opaque to the point where I am just thinking at my screen, knowing what the morally right thing to do in this situation is, but wondering if the game is going to punish me for it because of consequences I could not have possibly foreseen. And I feel like unforeseen consequences are good in smaller doses. But if every decision I'm making, I'm thinking, maybe I shouldn't make the morally correct choice because I'm worried that CD Projekt Red is going to laugh in my face later. I don't know if that's really encouraging, like thoughtful decision making. I'm more just trying to guess what the devs think would be coolest to do.
That's probably not the headspace you want to be in.
Yeah. So it's like I told you about that one decision I was making about killing this man, where it was like, if I set him free, he's essentially just going to keep doing what he's been doing, learning nothing. And it's going to be a harm on the world. But I'm worried because I'm killing someone. CD Projekt Red is going to be like, you shouldn't have done that. Now you're going to be heavily punished because you needed that guy. And it's like, okay, I should just leave the rapist and murderer alive to run the streets and continue his rape and murder. Horrific, might I add, because later I might be able to use him. I don't think that's a good message to be sending.
But that's all theoretical. You don't know.
Theoretical.
You haven't been punished for that decision.
Yeah, I got punished for what I did with the Baron. I almost didn't get his Gwent card. Thank God I did. I'd be so mad right now. I don't know. I'm trying to make the best decisions I can. And I like how many decisions I get to make. I like that the side quests turn out kind of wonky, depending on how you go. I'm worried because Chris has told me that the decisions you have to make for the main quest are kind of ambiguous, and that makes me nervous.
It's a game where it doesn't really spell it out for you. There's no highlighted red renegade choice and highlighted blue paragon.
And like I said, I do like that. I just wish I, as a thinking person, could sort of think them out a little more. And even if they're nuanced, I know which nuance I'm pursuing versus like opaque consequences. Like a woman being turned into a creature because I did a thing. Anyways, it's been fun. That's my summary of it. I just wish it wasn't making me so paranoid.
I guess I didn't suffer from the same paranoia.
Well, the Baron and you had a different ending.
Sure did.
Yeah.
But
you made the stew.
Yeah. I sure did. And it was yummy, yummy, yummy.
No.
Anyway, Heath, what if we got you back involved?
How much time do I have until Witcher 4 comes out?
Probably years.
Okay, good.
And years before it's playable after it comes out.
Hey-o.
Got him.
Got him.
Do you want to insert your Stardew Valley talk here, Heath, or do we table that?
So my brother Seth visited for my 30th birthday, and I thought, what better way to celebrate than booting up some co-op Stardew Valley?
Hey, Heath and Samantha, since this is one of your favorite games, we've never discussed Stardew Valley. What is Stardew Valley?
Stardew Valley is the farming simulator game where your grandfather bequeaths you a farm and it's in ruins and you got to build it back up while getting to know the local town you've just moved to and all their friendly faces. And is there some dark secrets to the town? Are you uncovering some secret plot by Mr. Q? Maybe you are.
It's like Animal Crossing, but with more fiber. I'm up to my eyeballs in fiber. I don't know what to do with them. I just keep filling the chest with it.
It is like Animal Crossing, except I'd say there's more like lore and story and the characters actually matter.
Oh.
And there's like combat. Animal Crossing doesn't have combat.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have seeds? Just make some
I do have seeds, but like just God, hoeing, watering, it's so labor intensive. Boy, does it punish you if you try to do too much in one day.
Do you mean falling asleep?
I hit a tree one too many times, and then when I went to bed, I woke up with like half my energy.
Uh-huh.
What gives?
You're supposed to like, it's an economy. You gotta make money. And later in the game, your energy is not going to be the problem. It's going to be the number of hours in the day.
All right.
Have you fished at all?
No, I don't. Do I have a rod? How do I make a rod?
Go to Willie on the beach,
Okay.
and he should give you a rod, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, fishing is early game how you like don't have the problem you're running into. Because fishing is low energy, and then guess what? When you run out of energy, you can eat the fish.
Oh.
And they give you energy. And fish can sell for a good amount of money in the early game when you're poor. So then you can use that to buy seeds while you get your farm going.
Yeah.
So fishing early game is really good.
My brother is in year 3, and it says that he's like not even close to the end.
What?
Okay, maybe not.
Man, year 3 is when Grandpa comes back and judges you for your sins. Man, I don't know. You seem like you're really early stages.
I'm really early.
Yeah. So, well, come back to me when you've met all the people in the town, because that's like a good first step is to talk to everybody, so you like know what their deal is, decide who your girlfriend's going to be. That's exciting. Fish a lot. Fishing is going to be good. That would be my advice. Don't worry too much about getting seeds in the ground because you're not going to plant that much anyway. So, yeah.
We got Heath playing Stardew Valley before we got GTA 6, am I right?
Before we got Chris playing Stardew Valley with his girlfriend, who's playing The Witcher.
Very cool.
The quid pro quo is not there. Yeah.
All right. Well, to wrap up this very lengthy What We've Been Playing section, Samantha and I finished a game I provided an update on last episode. Samantha and I rolled credits on AI the Somnium Files. Yes. This was a Spike Chunsoft developed mystery detective game. You play as a cop, Date, trying to solve a string of recent murders. All the corpses are turning up with a left eye being removed, very suspicious. And then the gimmick of his detective is he's part of the special abyss unit of the police force where he can dive into suspects' dreams and try to ascertain clues from their unconscious. Things like that. With a hefty dose of Spike Chunsoft wackiness and bullshit thrown in there.
But not too hefty.
Not the heftiest it's been.
Yeah, could have been more.
Samantha, I talked about this last episode. How do you want to weigh in? You've not talked about this game yet.
Oh, I'm a big Spike Chunsoft fan, so of course I loved this game. It was so fun. The story was so interesting. Man, those characters, so endearing. They really did a good job making them and making me care about them.
So, yeah, other Spike Chunsoft games like Danganronpa have very likable ensemble casts. This cast is a bit smaller.
But maybe to its benefit. I don't get to know Sayaka as well as I get to know Iris.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to slightly differ from you on this. I think the cast is full of highs and lows.
Okay, you're talking about Ota?
I did not like it when Ota was on screen.
Yeah, that's because...
And he spends a lot of time on screen.
He's cringe. His whole arc is he needed to go touch grass and like be a good son. And at the end of the game, he does that. So he's pretty annoying to talk to while that's happening.
I'm 100% with you. I am popping off every time Moma or Mizuki is on screen.
Mizuki, oh my God, I love her.
But even Iris, I was continuously meh on. She was fine.
I thought she had probably the most interesting character development. There was a lot going on underneath the hood, literally.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know. I thought she was interesting. I don't think I liked her in the sense that like
you wouldn't want to hang out with her.
I don't think I'd want to hang out with her, but she was really interesting to watch. Moma and Mizuki are great. No disagreement there. They're awesome. Especially Moma's where he started to where he ended up is hilarious.
You think he's going to be a background character, basically. You just visit one time. But no. Very solid story. Yeah. I was pretty darn satisfied with how they wrapped all those loose ends up to put a bow on it.
I think the thin line of a detective game where they give you enough information that the conclusion isn't a total surprise, but there are surprises in the conclusion that you could have figured out if you thought about it. It was a good balance where I was like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. We predicted some things, but then some things were like a surprise.
It was pretty much a perfect balance between things we correctly anticipated happening and the surprises that still had in store for us.
And there was especially like the first ending we hit was like a locked ending where we didn't get to see it all the way.
And what you mean by that is this game has a branching narrative where at certain key decisions, the narrative will split. You go down one path, maybe you reach a conclusion or get blocked, and then you have to circle back and see how different outcomes would play out.
And the first one we hit, we got blocked, but we had seen something that had made us go, oh, what a big twist. And then later, we get the context for that twist, and that in itself was a twist because it was totally different than how we had first conceived it.
Yes.
So pretty cool. We thought we had information, but it turned out to be not the information we thought it was, if that makes sense.
There were fun red herrings that made sense.
Yeah, it was good. The music in this game is also great.
I thought it was strong.
They have one song that someone sings in the game. In the first listen, I was like, oh, I thought it was okay, pretty catchy. And then by the last play of it, I was like, yeah, turn that shit up. This is great. I loved it.
Is that the song that you sent me?
Yes. You said that was like a side event that I begged Chris to do. Heath, that was a canon moment. You had to do that to progress through the game.
I have no context, so everything that I saw was just...
that was the point.
Cool, fun time.
I will say, crazy as it is, that it's like, it makes sense for Date to be kind of a bad cop in that people have to constantly remind him he needs like a warrant to do certain things.
Date's least favorite word is warrant.
Yeah, he's ready to just kind of do what he wants as a cop and like follow the laws later.
He's rolling his eyes every time his boss tells him, no, we can't detain random people indefinitely, Date.
Date, that's not allowed, buddy. For Abyss, their whole thing is that they like pretty often put people to sleep that they're interrogating and
so that they can go into their dreams.
Yeah, so they can go into their dreams. I feel like for how in violation of people's rights that is, pretty often their dreams don't really yield any information that was like super useful. Sometimes even revealing information that later is like a red herring. And also, as it's revealed by boss later, it's all inadmissible in court anyway. So we're like searching for clues in people's dreams. And a lot of the time it's kind of fruitless, which does seem like in character for like a government to spend a lot of money on a technology that doesn't really work or is helpful and then give it to law enforcement to abuse the rights of its citizens. So good in character moment for Earth, I guess.
Yeah, the whole existence of the Abyss part of the police unit seems pretty questionable.
Yeah.
Also, what a bunch of agreeable suspects we interviewed, because we didn't get a single complaint after our forcible drugging of everyone to put them to sleep. No one batted an eye at that.
So Sejima, probably, I mean, he hates us. And even he was just like, can I go now?
Yeah.
He had the political power to like, I don't know, get us hanged or something. And he was just kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done here. Bye. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
They set up the mystery around Date pretty early and pretty well, and I think the payoff on it was really good. So it's a really compelling story just to watch Date like grow. Also, character we didn't mention, Iba, your AI companion. She's great. She's awesome. I feel like I got really attached to her as things went along without kind of realizing it.
She grew on me. I think they use her as comedic relief in interesting ways that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. She's pretty funny sometimes, but a lot of the time she's also like the voice of reason when Date is being like over emotional or crazy. But they have a good balance where like sometimes his like intuition beats her like algorithm or whatever. It's a good buddy cop situation.
Yes. I'm high on this game. I liked it more than I thought I would.
Same.
I do have a couple nitpicks to slide in at the end here.
Sure.
Which is the puzzle solving aspect of the game where you're in the dream somniums and you're doing a lot of guess and check. There was never one that really impressed me.
It's operating on dream logic, which isn't logical.
Yeah. It's a lot of trial and error. And while they never really got annoying, there was never a single puzzle in this puzzle game that I was clapping my hands for.
Calling this a puzzle game, I'm like, yikes. That's like...
It's a poor puzzle game. It's a good visual novel.
Yeah, it's a great visual novel. Puzzle game is fine.
And then lastly, this didn't really hinder my enjoyment, but just thinking about how this was integrated into the team's previous work on the Zero Escape games, I kind of just felt a little bit surprised that the Somnium files even bothered to have the whole branching narrative component to it. To me, it felt more tacked on and less integral to the experience than it does in the Zero Escape games. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that the entire justification for having all these, getting to see all the different possibilities in Somnium files of the split paths is just because at one point there's kind of a lore dump where a character just mentions the possibility of parallel universes. And that's the entire justification of why you're seeing all these different outcomes.
You're seeing the parallel universes of how this case could have turned out.
But
there's a little bit of transference of knowledge. Like Date knows things he shouldn't sometimes.
And for no discernible reason.
Do you think the justification in VLR was like airtight?
I thought it was a pretty important part of the entire narrative. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I'm not, this critique isn't without merit.
It felt like, what if Red Dead Redemption 2 had a cool split narrative where you didn't follow Dutch's plan on this one heist?
Whoa.
For some reason.
It's not the same because this game, if there was one path, it wouldn't be as cool.
I agree. It was cool. It just felt kind of arbitrary to be doing it at all.
I think Spike Chunsoft, like this team that made VLR, only knows how to make a split narrative game. They don't know how to do a Danganronpa-esque game with a start and a finish line. So they don't have a good justification for it, but that's what they know how to do.
Yeah. The impression it left on me is it seemed like the creatives who worked on this game felt like they developed a reputation from Zero Escape. And they're like, well, I guess we got to do a branching narrative again. Are there all the cool in-universe reasons for doing it this time? No, but we're doing it anyway.
Okay, but I liked it.
Yeah, but I liked it.
I'm not complaining. I don't care that much that like they didn't justify it.
It just
say it's because of Iba, and that's probably true.
It just felt like an arbitrary decision to me that ended up being cool. But I guess we better have someone mention parallel universes at some point. Otherwise, this will be really weird.
Yeah.
Total non sequitur otherwise, yeah.
I really did so in Spike Chunsoft games, a lot of the times they'll have like really specific lore dumps about things that are going to be important. And this one, I felt like there was a little bit of like a twist in that they did a lore dump. And then it was actually like, you were like, oh God, this is some Spike Chunsoft. I'm going to need to know about this thing they've just explained. It seems really complicated. And then Spike was like, psych, just kidding. That's not important at all. And before you're like, oh, so they wasted your time? I guess. But it was really funny. So I liked that.
Agricola?
Agricola.
Okay.
All right. And that was AI The Somnium Files, a game we're pretty high on.
I liked it quite a bit. I'm going to play the second one with Chris, and we're going to have a good time.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Whew. Everyone take a breather, because that was a long what we've been playing section. We're all going to take a break. You all probably should too, and we'll see you after the break. And we're back. In the back half of this episode, we have a grab bag of random things to discuss.
Reach into it.
And here's what I found in the bag. Samantha and I have actually done a couple IRL, real-world video game-related activities and attractions that I thought we could discuss for fun. And then after that, we have a rebuttal, some borderline hate mail we received that will be fun to read.
Yeah.
So first, Samantha, we took a trip to Frisco, Texas, a month or two back. I actually meant to mention this on last episode, but it completely slipped my mind.
For those of you who are like, Frisco, Texas, that could be anywhere. It's near Dallas. It's a bit north. So
near Dallas, Texas.
more context.
And
It's Dallas's 10-gallon hat because it's above it.
It is actually.
It happens to be the home of the National Videogame Museum.
What? That's what we have.
We have the National Museum of Play.
Oh, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, the National Video Game Museum in Frisco, Texas. Samantha and I, we visited there. Neither of us had ever been before. And we're going to share our impressions. I won't bury the lead. I think if you're in the area and you are a big fan of video games, yeah, it's worth the trip. Should you divert your travel plans to go visit? I don't think so.
And he would not say that about the Strong Museum of Play.
Which is a banger. You should come see
You
that.
should drive an extra hour out of your way to go there. Maybe 2 hours.
So what set the tone for the Frisco National Video Game Museum for me was the welcoming room before you actually pay for your tickets. You kind of go through a room. It had a bunch of TVs that were showing, I think, video game ads from different eras. I think that was pretty cool. Decorating this room, which was mostly stark white, were big, life-size statues of video game characters. Heath, who would you hazard a guess these video game characters might have been?
Master Chief. Like the mall used to have at the FYI store.
Okay.
Or no, For Your Entertainment, FYE. Remember that?
I remember those stores, yeah.
Forever 21 replaced it.
The big figurines like Link and Sonic the Hedgehog that they have at the Strong Museum of Play.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps a Mario himself in there somewhere?
Mario himself, yeah.
But no, none of those familiar faces were to be seen. It was a bunch of life-size statues of characters from a dead game called Battleborn. Battleborn is a hero shooter released the same month as Overwatch, which probably tells you why you don't know about it. Yeah, weird opening. However, there's a very reasonable explanation why there were several life-size Battleborn characters staring at me. And that's because Battleborn was made by a studio called Gearbox, which is also located in Frisco, Texas. It was a matter of convenience that they had all these donated. And that kind of set the tone. This place is kind of like what they could get their hands on to some extent in a somewhat convenient fashion. And maybe that's being a little too harsh. But then we entered the museum proper. I have specific things I'm going to call out. Do you have any opening impressions, Samantha?
I think everything you've said so far is true. It's definitely a way lower budget museum than the Strong Museum of Play is. You can tell, like, it needs more money if it's going to be anything interesting. And I think the people who work there, I do think they care about it. The exhibits are clean. They're well organized. Everything seems well maintained. It's just like clearly, I could talk about Frisco, Texas budgeting stupid Star Center forever. But yeah, they clearly didn't get the love they needed to make it like something like the Strong Museum of Play, which is a horrible thing to compare it to because it's so pale in comparison. It's bullying them to compare.
We were at the National Video Game Museum for a little over an hour.
Sure.
And I didn't feel the need to stay any longer than that.
Yeah.
Cool things, though. We got to play a game I've heard a lot about in just passing, the Typing of the Dead.
Yeah.
A game, I think it was a Dreamcast game around that era, where it kind of operates like a first-person shooter, but you play it with a keyboard and you type out words really fast.
We played it on the Dreamcast keyboard extension.
Official accessory,
Yes,
peripheral.
official accessory.
It's a parody of a light gun shooter.
Yes, like an on-rails shooter that you progress by typing the correct words really quickly. I will say all the game feel behind like the crunchy sound effects with each keystroke and like the sounds of random gun attachments clicking into place and gunshots. I thought it had pretty good game feel for what was a glorified typing game. We only played through the first opening level. I'm curious if it ever layers on more complexity because if it doesn't, it really just, there's no resources to manage. There's really nothing to think about. It is just type the word quickly.
Well, didn't you play like a typing game when you were a kid that was not zombie
Yeah, but
shooter?
that's like edutainment, where this was like a commercial release.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you could buy this at the store.
I also learned that all my brother's Minecraft chat experience makes him a hell of a typer.
Yeah, Samantha's brother was crushing this game.
Yeah. We all took turns and he got on and it was like...
It was like, he's the machine gun.
Yeah.
I can't remember specific examples anymore, but I thought the vocabulary of words we were being asked to type was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. The words were definitely funny. Yeah.
Like it's like a zombie shooter survival situation, I think. And some were like, oh, they're coming or so, like appropriate things. And then there'd be completely weird tangent words. I almost felt like the game was trying to like subliminally message something to me with what it was asking me to type.
It like progressed to full sentences. And you're right. Some of them would be like, oh, they're coming, watch out. And some of them would be like,
visit the gift shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should buy more Dreamcast products or something.
It also is really funny when you hit a quote unquote boss fight. The only change is suddenly a paragraph flashes on the screen and you have to type that. What a goofy game.
It was pretty fun to get to try.
We also played some original Oregon Trail on like an old, do you think it was a Mac computer? I forget what the hardware was.
Old computer to me.
Yeah.
I played Oregon Trail when I was in first grade, so this was a lot of fun for me. It kind of makes me want to revisit it. It was such a cute, fun time.
Yeah.
Watching my people die of dysentery.
It was good. You also got a little hands-on with a famous arcade game, Dragon's Lair.
Yes.
Do you know this game, Heath? Known for its very striking animations.
So basically, this game just looks like a cartoon from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And you are making quick time decisions, but that is in no way articulated to you. I was playing it thinking I was watching the intro cutscene, when in reality, I was dying multiple times because I was failing to do quick time events.
Right.
Very strange experience. I think it would be fun to play because of how opaque where you're supposed to do things.
Yeah,
is.
you think quest design in Witcher's opaque? Try to play Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, it's like a knight is charging at you, and it's like, when do I even dodge? Immediately? Man, it was so funny.
You should make her play Beyond Two Souls.
I've played that actually.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. It's the boxing montage in that game.
Yeah, Dragon's Lair, known for infamously stealing many quarters from people back in the arcades, since it's so hard to know what to do. But it has a big reputation because it looked so much better than anything else in the arcade.
It looks like a well-made cartoon, which is why I thought I was watching the little intro sequence, but
You were playing the game.
I was a fool. Yeah, what a fun time, though.
One of my favorite things we did at the museum was sit in a 70s era recreation of a family room with all the wood paneled technology. And there was I think it was an early Atari console hooked up to the TV. You could sit down and play it. And then the funny moment as we're playing this game that's somewhat of a facsimile of Space Invaders. It's not what it was, but it was close. There was a landline in this fake living room that rang. And then the incoming signal made the TV staticky.
And that was pretty fun. It felt really immersive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the era. We had time traveled.
We brought my mom and stepdad, who are of that time, over to experience it. And my mother, who's been a gamer her whole life, was really impressed that the console was just as she remembered playing when she was a kid.
Yeah, she was smoking us at that game.
Oh, yeah, she was.
How ironic, because there were cigarette stains on the console itself.
There may have been.
The last thing I want to talk about is at the end of the museum, there's a big arcade room.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of old arcade games. And I got my hands on Tapper for the first time, which is a bartending game, which I know about because I saw Wreck-It Ralph and he's in that game. And I thought it was pretty fun. I also thought it was pretty crazy that they were advertising beer to children because that game was sponsored by Budweiser, I think. And the Budweiser advertising was present. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't think that's something you would see today.
Right. Yeah. Different era. That is pretty funny to think about.
Yeah. I could definitely see how people could be hooked on arcade games, even though their design is simple, because I was having a good time.
Yeah, there was an arcade you get to go through at the end. You were given, as part of your entry fee, you got some tokens to use there. I played some Punch-Out on arcade machine, and I was so bad at it. I fared a little bit better at the old arcade game Rampage.
Yeah, you liked that one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And then one other observation, just kind of a slight disappointment of mine that maybe is emblematic of the museum. There was a cool big screen with a podium you can interact with, which had a bunch of trivia about consoles and things like that. And you can just tell this wasn't being kept up to date very often. On the wall next to it, there was a little section saying, like, what are players playing with today? And it was like the PlayStation 4. Like, no one had updated this in at least 5 years.
And don't forget the original Switch was in there too.
Yeah. I wouldn't hold it against them if they didn't have the Switch 2 there, since that's a matter of months old. But come on, the PlayStation 5 has been out for 5 years now.
It's a clear sign that this place is getting no money.
Right. And like in the trivia, some of the sales figures of consoles were not accurate, but that's only going to bother you if you're autistic like me.
Chris was trying to impress me by being like, I know exactly how much this is going to be watched. And then he'd be wrong. He'd be like, it's not up to date, actually. They're wrong. I'm not wrong. He was right. Like when we Googled it, he's closer to right than they were, but that's kind of embarrassing for them.
Actually.
And
yeah, that was the Frisco Video Game Museum. Fun if you're in the area. Probably don't plan a trip around going there.
Oh, and if you're going to the museum and you're hungry for dinner after, hit that Babe's Chicken, because that place slaps. It's great. And it's right next door, basically.
And that was fun video game event number 1. Number 2, this was teased last episode. Samantha and I went to see The Witcher in concert a couple weeks ago. There's been a big tour around the United States this year to celebrate The Witcher 3 turning 1 decade old this year. I had initially bought tickets just by myself to see it here in local Rochester in September. However, that event was actually canceled. Same with the Syracuse one, I think. So anything that would have been within reasonable driving distance of me was canceled. I think not enough people bought tickets, perhaps. However, Samantha then had an excellent idea. What if I just came to visit her and see the concert that was happening in her backyard, which we did and had time to do. I mean, that's also what launched her playing Witcher 3 and all that. I think it slightly exceeded my expectations. I'd never been to a video game music concert before. This is my first. I know similar things exist for things like Final Fantasy music or Nier music, but really cool to see this one. I thought it was really fun to hear the Polish folk metal band called Percival. They were there performing the music. They contributed at least several songs, maybe even more than that, to the Witcher 3 game. And this was their North American debut. They have never performed music here before.
Oh, wow.
So that was a cool, fun fact. You could even go get pictures taken with them if you want after the show. And then I guess what I wasn't expecting, I was expecting to hear a lot of Witcher music, which we sure did live. I wasn't expecting to have them play the music so that it kind of retold the Witcher 3 game, along with accompanying, I think, a unique montage of visuals from the game, I think, that was put together for this concert.
Like some scenes are played in full, and then sometimes it'll be like, oh, here's this area.
It was a unique edit. You commented on this, that the live music was impressively synced to the visuals.
Yeah, that conductor was great. She was always hitting those beats exactly where they should be.
There wouldn't have been room for error for some of the transitions they did.
Yeah.
And you could never tell.
Yeah, they had to be exactly timed, and that is the mark of a good conductor. She's doing great.
You were going to mention this as well, Samantha, but as the music flowed through the retelling of the game, and I felt like I got to re-experience The Witcher in this abbreviated musical context, there were 1 or 2 weird outside of chronological order decisions made where, why is this part of the game being shown right now?
Why is Skellige before Novigrad?
Right, yeah. I can't explain why they did it that way.
Why is Kira not in this at all?
Samantha hated that part.
My girl.
You had a unique experience watching this, Samantha.
Okay, so I, at the time, was halfway through Novigrad watching this, and I feel like I shouldn't have played The Witcher before I went to see this concert. I think I've made the worst decision possible, because I think it's the best experience if you've played The Witcher through. But if you intend to play The Witcher and you want to go see this concert, don't start a month ahead of time. That's not enough time to play enough of the game. I got to watch 15 minutes of the concert, and I had to close my eyes because I was going to get spoiled for plot stuff.
Because there was visual component too.
Yeah, there was visual components.
Yeah, you want to arrive for this concert having no context or all of the context.
If I had no context, the visuals would have meant nothing to me. But unfortunately, I now know who Triss Marigold is. I know who Siri is. I know who these characters are. So when they're doing things on screen, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
At least to some extent.
And then you were also like, it was funny to me. You like, Chris, I've been playing this game for a month before the concert. I thought I'd be able to have my eyes open for more of it. How long is this game?
Yeah, I was like, I think I've put like at least 40 hours into this game, and I got to watch like 20% of the concert, and that scares me.
You got to see Tutorial Island, White Orchard, and Velen. And then it was sleepy time.
There was a little bit. The part they played of Novigrad that I got to see, I think lasted less than a minute. And I was like, oh my God, that was like 10 hours. So yeah, feeling not so hot about my Witcher progress after seeing the concert. But I had a good time. The music was great. I really liked people watching. I feel like some people were like in cosplay, and that was really cool. But people who even weren't in cosplay, it was cool to see like what kind of outfits they were in. Like some of them dressed kind of more like, I want to say like edgy or more like themed than they might otherwise. There was the guy who sat near us who was dressed as King Radovid.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing him up
decked
close.
out.
There was like a couple there dressed as Geralt and Yennefer, and they looked really cool. It was also a great energy just being in a concert hall and like wandering the halls during intermission just with a bunch of like people who are all here to see Witcher 3 music. What an interesting group of people. I felt like you could have talked to anyone and been able to like converse with them because of the shared interest. It's like similar to being at a convention almost, that same energy of that mutual appreciation.
Everyone's here for a very specific reason.
Yeah, it was a fun experience in that respect. Versus like going to like a musical theater performance, that's not necessarily true.
And yeah, I thought the performances were great, especially, I was very impressed by the vocalists.
Oh yeah, she sang for a long time, and she was doing her voice didn't falter even once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And almost every song I wanted to hear was played. They thoroughly covered the 2 DLCs. I wasn't expecting that for sure. And then they ended, we thought it was over, and they're like, hey, you want to hear one more song from The Witcher 4? And we were like, yeah.
They played the music to the Witcher 4 trailer, and that was really, really cool. Especially because I got to watch that part.
Yeah, you could watch that part, eyes open.
Eyes open.
And that was The Witcher in concert. A very good first experience seeing video game music in a live performance like that. Okay, and those were those topics of the show. Moving on to our final write-in. We received an email that we want to address. You'll have to think back 2 episodes, back to when the 3 of us were selecting our preferred desert island games to last us for the long haul. If we only had access to 5 games, what games would we bring? And this prompted a write-in from friend of the show, Janice. Janice says, I would like to file a formal complaint that the League of Legends Slander has gone too far. This is not an argument that it should be on any of your desert island game lists, but the slanderous comments in the context of multiplayer games like Fortnite and no-name fighting games and Battle Royale Tetris, these are supposed to be better, question mark.
That fighting game is really good.
These games actually being a logical choice has reached a point of irrational hysteria. This conspiracy-minded anti-vax tier groupthink on the part of Samantha especially needs to be called out. League will have better longevity than most games named. League has constant updates keeping the game fresh. League is more complex than most of the games here, with a high mastery curve that you can sink endless hours into. If endless gameplay loop addiction is what you're after on a desert island, few games will be able to outlast League. And even if you never touch League proper, it comes with other games. As part of the League client, you get Teamfight Tactics, the most popular strategy game in the world by player base. It's a game I also unironically think you would enjoy, as it's basically an economy management, push your luck, PvP strategy game that's not unlike an RTS board game in feel. In an alternate universe where you downloaded the League client, I think you would probably actually enjoy it. Technically, there is also a Legends of Runeterra launcher in the League client, which is a Hearthstone equivalent. And finally, the toxicity issue. This is unironically not really a problem anymore. Riot put a lot of resources into behavioral systems resulting in chat bans, outright bans, queuing toxic people together, etc., etc. And it's been largely successful. At least it's around normal multiplayer game levels. And if you ever have a problem, of course, the mute all command exists.
The normal multiplayer levels is pretty scary to think about because I'm like, I don't know, Janice, those levels are pretty high. I don't even remember if that was a complaint I had about League because I've played Call of Duty online. I've been called worse.
So Janice says the League slander has gone too far finally. How do we feel about this?
I acknowledge I have a vendetta against League. I'm not changing my opinion about League. Do I acknowledge as a desert island game it has merit? Yeah. Do I think that game has such an addictive formula to it that it can make people's lives so much worse? Yeah. But if you're on a desert island, that's kind of a non-issue.
That's a perk.
That's a perk almost. So, yeah, I think maybe a desert island is the only place you should play League. There you go, Janice.
You win.
You win. If you touch League otherwise, make sure you do so responsibly, if that's possible.
I think League of Legends is an excellent desert island game. I probably should have given it more consideration than I did.
We didn't pick Fortnite either.
That's true. Heath
so,
did.
yeah,
Heath
is the one that could have picked League because Chris and I weren't picking Fortnite or fighting games or whatever Janice's other complaints were. I picked games I like. So I'm not picking League now either.
As a podcast, we probably do give League of Legends a little bit too hard of a time. For me, at least, it's partially a bit. I like to bash on it because it's a recurring segment.
Me, it's a deep personal hatred.
Me, however, you know what they say. If you can't beat them, join them. So I installed the Riot client on my MacBook.
No.
Here it is.
Oh, man.
I haven't launched a single game yet.
This is going to be Heath's last appearance on the podcast.
For Janice, I have no rebuttal until I reach rank Silver 4.
Janice has to be pleased by this outcome.
Well, I respect his opinion.
Yeah, you can respect it without huffing the cocaine, Heath.
But what if it's good?
Yeah, exactly.
What if it turns out to be cocaine?
Wow, Janice, I did not see this outcome coming, but congratulations.
Look what you've
You got
wrought.
Heath to install League.
Look what you did.
Very good. That's everything I
Not
had.
very good.
It's very bad.
Very bad.
Very middling.
I promise not to play more hours of League than Stardew.
Okay. I accept. Don't just play 80 hours of video games per week either.
It can be done.
Hey, and that was this podcast episode. Let's wind things down. Heath, if you want to appear on the show just like Janice did with his write-in, how could you do so?
You write an email to mobiustubespodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. It's mobiustubespodcast@gmail.com. We'll read every email we receive on the show. Thanks for joining us again, Samantha.
Sure, I'll be back eventually. I gotta go hang out in Fenway for a while.
Cool. Heath and I will be back next episode, of course, with hot new games to discuss.
It's so hot.
Maybe even a little board game talk. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Let's look forward to that, and we'll see you then.